While I was waiting for my liver transplant, I was took very ill. My wife was sent for an ambulance and I was taken to Elton Galvin Hospital where I was admitted to a ward immediately. I couldn't breathe, I was struggling to breathe, and they tried everything. They checked my liver, obviously, and they found out it had sepsis, but they were still fighting. They needed to get the sepsis under control. And they still couldn't work out what was wrong with my breathing, so they said they were going to send me up to the Royal on the Thursday because the liver consultants were coming over from London on the Friday. Now I got moved up on an ambulance on the Thursday to the Royal. While I was in the Royal, they told me then that there was a pilot strike in London a few years ago, if you can remember, and that Heathrow, and that the consultants couldn't come over, the specialists couldn't come over, so they wouldn't see me. So whenever I was in Belfast, the liver consultants in Belfast, the Royal, says that they would run tests on me, and I says, well, there was not much point because they've already ran them in Alton the previous week. And I was fighting. There was a few doctors around me that evening. I was struggling, really struggling to breathe. And cut a long story short, they found out, and when they run the tests up in the Royal, that my aortic valve was blocked and the blood circulation wasn't going around my body, so I couldn't breathe. And that's why I was, and they basically told my wife I was dying. I had only 24 hours to live, and that was it. So, and he says the only thing they could do was give me an aortic valve, Pig's valve, up through the groin. And this is a very slim chance of survival. Not expected to survive, bring my children up to say their goodbyes, basically. So I don't remember any of this. That's why my wife was an absolute superstar. So anyway, I got through that operation, believe it or not. They did the scans in Belfast that they didn't pick up in Nottingham Galvin. It's a very rare thing to find. But if I hadn't got moved up and there hadn't been that pilot strike, then I would not be here today. The pilot strike saved my life because they found it, and the girl that found it in the scan in Belfast. Anyway, so anyway, I went for the operation. Got through the operation, not expected, a very slim chance of getting through the operation, but I was told to expect the worst, say the goodbyes. When I woke up, I says to the doctors, I was 2 or 3 weeks under anaesthetic, and when I came around, when they brought me around, it was 3 months in total in hospital, over 3 months. When I came around after the anaesthetic, I says to the nurses and doctors in the room, I says, was there a minister in with me? And they says, yes. And I says, did he look about 5'8", 5'9", whatever, short, bald-headed man, well-groomed, exactly how I described it. And they also took a step back in astonishment and went, yes, Brian, why? And he says, was he holding my hands? And I says, did he hold my hands? And did he raise my hands up like this? Raise my hands up like this? And he took them down like this and that. And I basically, and he says, yes, Brian. They were all amazed how I was able to describe this. He says, there was a boy and with you, as you described, a minister, as you described, and you would not let go of his hands for half an hour. And we were fighting to save your life. 6 doctors were fighting to save your life. And we had to actually treat that minister with ibuprofen oil for the bruises on his hands. Now, what I remember when I was under, and I remember this is anaesthetic. I could not see what this man looked like or anything. He held my hands, he was saying a prayer with me, and he raised my hands up, and I went, okay, I'm going to heaven. I thought I was going to heaven, I really did. He brought my hands down, and I thought, okay, I'm going to continue with life, I'm going to go on with life. But then he took my hands right down, held them down the ground, and I thought, oh my God, no, I'm not going to hell. I know I have not been great in this world, but I am not going to hell. I'm going to fight for my children. Now, he brought my hands back up to even, up level again, and he let go. I let go of his hand, and I said, right, I'll continue on with my life. Now, when I woke up and I told them, well, doctors, all this here, and they were all like astonished how I knew what he looked like and stuff. Now, somebody please explain this to me. How did I know what he looked like? How did I know to fight on for my life? This is why I wear my crosses and all now. This is where my hair braided. The 3 things of the Holy Spirit, etc. I'm all getting confused here, but I'm very religious now. That is why something happened to me during that time with the pilot strike. How did I know there was a man stern with me? How did I hold on to his hand? He raised my hands up, he raised my hands down. What happened? Was that a miracle? I believe it was.